Do you sometimes feel like your purpose in life is just to make good food and eat it? Well, today we're making a classic spinach and feta pie, which is a staple that everyone should have in their repertoire. This looks incredible.
I agree with that, because a lot of times people seem to overthink the food part, because people seem to think it has to have a lot of ingredients, it has to have too much. This is such a simple but tasty recipe, and it only uses a couple of ingredients. The staple, which is feta and spinach, is one combination that just seems to make everyone happy, whether it's in a spanakopita or in this case in a pie. So hopefully everyone that gets the recipe today will want to try this out. We've got our puff pastry, which we've left out for a bit.
That scares me.
Why?
The pastry. I don't know, it just always feels overwhelming. Feta, I love feta. I love the taste of feta. I love the feel of feta in my mouth. But to make that from scratch really gives me anxiety.
I can imagine. Luckily, you can buy the puff pastry from the store, so you don't have to worry about that. But I can imagine the admin of wanting to make your own puff pastry. Guys, don't stress yourself.
That's how I buy the store. My mom made everything.
I know, right?
From scratch.
Buy it from the store and get it done. All you have to do is just make sure it's thawed enough. Obviously, not overly too much. You don't want it to fall over the place. You still want to be able to be pliable where you can fold it over, but not too much where it actually tears as you use it. So we'll just let that sit for a bit. And over here is the filling that we're going to make. We've got our spinach already chopped up. In there, we're adding a bit of dill. So as you can see, I'm using a soft herb. So when you talk about soft herbs, you're talking about your dill, your basil, your coriander. So any of those soft herbs would definitely work in this recipe. We're going to season it a bit. We're just adding a bit of salt and pepper. And then because we are using the spinach and feta combination, I do like to add a bit of lemon just for a bit of zinginess into this. So may I ask you just to, if you can open that container for me with the feta, because we are using Clover, the plain feta today. Ooh, I got some lemon juice in my eye. Not only good for the food, is good for the sight as well. So a squeeze of lemon goes into this baby over here. And we are using Clover feta today. We're going with the plain flavor, but Clover does have a range of different flavors.
I've seen that,
You could use the one with the herbs, you could use the one with black pepper. It's completely up to you. And then we're just going to crumble this over together, because this is the filling. Very simple, very easy, you see. Some people would want to add a couple of other things in here, perhaps some garlic, perhaps adding some onions in there if you want. Whatever flavor you'd like to add, you definitely could do that. But I like to keep it simple when it comes to certain classic recipes.
I'm a huge feta fan. I kind of put feta into everything. I've recently started putting feta into my eggs as well, and I just find that it's one of those ingredients that literally can go with anything.
I agree with that, especially because of the salt content. The thing about the feta itself is that if you add it into any recipe, you just have to be mindful about the salt content that you add. But otherwise, it's a great flavoring component, because you make sure you get that saltiness from there, and then you just balance it with whatever other flavors you're going to be using. Okay, so I'm going to be putting this together, and as you can see, the feta works very well, because as it bakes into the pie, it's going to be nice and creamy and add that zinginess into this pie. So the next step now is to fold our baby over. As you can see, I've left a bit of a border, because we're going to fold it over and seal it, and this goes into the oven to bake. I would say perhaps anywhere between 200, 220 degrees in the oven. Preheat your oven and just make sure it's nice and warm. And the reason for that is you want to get that beautiful crust on the outside, but you also still want to make sure that the filling is baked. And we're going to do that at the bottom of our oven. We're going to put this at the bottom, and then we're going to bake this for about 25 to 30 minutes. The idea is just to make sure that it's nice and golden brown. I mean, golden brown, not brown. And then as you can see, we've folded it over. This goes into the oven to bake for about 25 to 30 minutes. It is important to make sure that you give it a nice, beautiful brush for that golden color in the top. And that's egg wash, just simple egg wash. Just have a bit of water in there as well, just to give it, loosen it up a bit. And it is important whenever you're making a pie, guys, anything of that sort that's going to be going into the oven, make some slits in this inside to make sure the steam escapes. Otherwise, it's going to puff up, and it's going to have a bit of a space in between the actual filling and the pie. So this baby, I'm going to put into the oven now, and that's good to go.
Awesome. What I love about a pie is that it always reminds me of home. It reminds me of comfort food, so looking forward to that.
I've got a bit of taste as well. Let me know what you think. But yeah, it also is quite nostalgic because of the flavors and the flakiness of that puff pastry.
Certainly reminds me of home.
Delicious. Delicious, tasty.
Feta and spinach is a wonderful combo.
Yeah, winning combo all the time. And I say, if you want to make this recipe, make sure to get over to our website, Afternoon Express. We've got it all detailed, all the instructions, all the recipe ingredients. Make it at home. You definitely will not be disappointed.
Thank you, Tumi. Well, add some purpose to your week and make this delicious My mouth is salivating. Spinach and feta pie for dinner. And you can get the full recipe on afternoonexpress.co.za. It is as easy as pie.
From salads to snacks, savor the delight. Clover's feta, smooth and creamy, makes every bite just right.